Oh, I think she's gonna, yeah. I don't know if they're librarian.
Oh, man. All right, we can get started, boys and girls. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Madison County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting, June 29th, 6 p.m. We'll now call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Gentlemen, before you is the minutes from April 18, 2026 regular business meeting and the minutes from the June 1st agenda setting work session. Please take a moment, look over those. If there's no discrepancies, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, we'll start with Frank.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 All right, thank you, gentlemen. And just for the record, Commissioner Doster is out of town on vacation. You'll see a couple of empty seats here over the next couple of months as we cycle through the vacation period. I think we're going next Monday, right? You and Brian both?
That's it.
We'll still have a quorum. Business involving guest groups or multiple visitors. Mr. Tracy Dean, Board of Elections.
Thank you all for allowing me to speak tonight. Just kind of give you some updates on the elections that we've had so far this year, some consolidation discussions, and new legislation. First, I'm going to just touch base with what we did in May. We used the new election room, the larger room that we have with the sanctuary in our office, and it worked great. We had 25 machines in there, and with the volume and stuff that's coming up, we could easily get an additional 50 more in there if we decide, the board does decide to consolidate, so that's not a problem for space. Paul and his crew come in, redone the electrical capacity in there, so the electrical was no problem at all for us. All the machines run as they should. The only problem that I saw with the room is there was an echo in there. And if we do decide to continue to use that in the future, that maybe the county can look into some type of barrier that would, sound barrier or something. I don't know what we would do, but I mean, it's not that bad, but we could look into something like that. During the 3-week early voting period of the May election, we voted 2,500 people, a little over 2,500, actually 2,569 voters that came through and voted early. And at the end of the last week, the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we extended our hours until 7 p.m. And we saw that really helped. We had a lot of voters that came in because they come from Athens after work, come on in and they voted, and they really liked that. And we were open, like I said, 7 that morning, had several come in. On election day, the Danielsville precinct is at our office. And so we put them in there. They voted 406. And as you've noticed, in a primary and federal runoff, the turnout is extremely low. Hopefully these numbers are going to double when we have the election in November. But 406 voters come to the Danielsville precinct, and 186 of voters, in addition to that, were what I call redirected. Means that they came in to vote, and they were at the wrong precinct. State law states that if they come in before 5 o'clock, they're not allowed to vote a provisional ballot, and they have to go to their normal voting precinct. But 186 on that one day thought that was their location. And some of them want to argue, well, I've always voted here. Well, no, this is early voting. Election day, you have to go to your precinct. Couple kind of upset with us, but We explained to them that was the law, and that's why we had to work that. If they come after 5, then they're allowed a provisional ballot to vote, and that would count because they're out of precinct. But as you know, you can get from one precinct to the other in the county in 15, 20 minutes. But that's all we had to offer that. Like I said, overall, there was no major complaints. We found that a lot of the voters liked the big room. They felt more, I guess you'd say, in the older room, we're all jammed up kind of, and this gave us, big room to put everything out there for everybody. The cost of the May election cost the county approximately $50,000, and that was with all 12 precincts open. June, and at the end I can go in what it would cost if we ever consolidated and did like that savings. The June 16th general primary runoff, we only used 10 voting machines because, of course, the turnout was not going to be that great. The election ran smoothly, had no complaints, no issues. Well, I take that back. The only complaint that we had from the voters was, did we not pay the grass cutter? Because the grass was horrible. It had been almost 3 weeks, and I had some voters say, well, they were going to pick us a bouquet of flowers. We really need to look into maybe getting it cut a little bit sooner than that. That election cost the county approximately $22,000 with all 12 precincts open. So let me also add this, looking ahead, if, we continue to use this election room, which, as far as I'm thinking as early voting goes, yes, we're going to do that. We might want to utilize that back door as an exit. And if we do that, there's just some modifications that need to be done back there as far as the leveling of the ground as you go out the door. Now, your handicapped voters, we still have them come in the front and exit the front. But if we have a large election and you have got mass voters, because in 2024 we had over 11,000 voters to come through and vote, during early voting week. So there were times that there was a line. With all the machines we've got, there shouldn't be a line, but still you might have that congestion there at the front door. And if we could reroute to put some of them out the back, that would be a good suggestion there. And I mentioned about the noise or sound barrier there, but like I said, overall, I was pleased. The voters were pleased, and that room really worked out really well. Any questions about those 2 elections?
Do you have the election day numbers that voted at each of the different precincts?
I don't have that with me. You don't remember right off, do you? Not right off, but it was.
You could just send that to us.
Yeah, I will. I'll definitely send that to you. It wasn't that many more on election day than it was early voting. And then with your first election in May, we were open three weeks plus 2 Saturdays. With the June election, we were only open 1 week, and I do know that we voted a little over 1,500 people in that 1 week. So that was a good turnout for that 1 week. I'm going to go on. Do you have any more questions about those elections?
I'm just going to ask, did I recall saying that it was 18.7%?
Yes, it was right at 20%, or maybe a little under 20%.
20% of 24,000?
We had 24,000 voters. Yeah.
Then for me, I divide that 20% into $72,000 and think about how unjust that is. Go ahead.
And I can, at this time, I can just tell you what, our savings as far as what we did. In elections, well, let's go through this other first. On a consolidation update, going with the advice of the legal counsel, it was suggested that we table everything up until the November election. Once that November election is over, go back and pick it up, because we needed, as an office, and my staff needed to focus on these elections this year. And I didn't need that hovering over us with trying to get, I don't want to confuse the voter about having any changes while the elections are going on. So come the first of the year, we're going to pick it right back up, and our board will discuss that. Now, I can say that 2027 will be what we consider as a non-election year, which we know we always have elections. But it's what we have as our municipal elections. We have the 5 cities, and we'll have, their elections, and we'll hold those for all of those. And then if there's a school special board, they want to put up something on, or if the county wants to put a special, or if something happened to someone resigned or whatever, then we would have a special for that. And there's different times in the year that we would have to that. So next year is kind of a slow, but not really a slow, because no elections, like I said, are slow anymore. But let me just say this, if the board, this will give us, once we start in January talking about this, and we have talked about it in the past, you've been to the meetings that we've had, we will, do more research, we'll have it open to the public, let them give us their opinions on what they feel, that, I'm not going to disenfranchise these voters, but I feel that I need to look at some ways to make it, accessible to everybody, and I feel like this one location would be. But there again, I'm just one voice on the board. I have 2 other board members, and so it would come down to a board decision. But if we decided this, then my take on that is that we would start January of 2028. That would give us enough time next year to decide if we're going to do it, and then reach out and really, get the public in on it, let them know what's going to, maybe send out mailers, send out whatever, and get them, let them know where they would come and vote and what they would need to do. I am having opposition from different people in the county. If someone come and watched us during election day, and I've been told that's my job, and that's right, that is my job, and I will continue to do my job. But I'm a taxpayer too, and I'm trying to look at ways that could help the county. And consolidation, I feel, is one of those ways. But I'm open to anybody's suggestions. We have also been, had asked, well, could you look at more than one location? Why are you just picking one? Could you not do 3? Could you not do 5 or 7? Well, the issue with that is you've got to find a building within the county that can have that many voters, and they've got to have the electrical capacity to do that. And with all the security going on now, you've got to make sure that that's secure, whether it be cameras or whatever. And then we have gotten what we use a lot with our poll pads. We use cellular data. And I've got 2 precincts right now. They have to go outside, walk 100 foot down the road before they can get a signal to contact me. And this is just, we went over this before. We'll discuss it more later. But I just want to kind of give you where we're at with that. Y'all have any questions about any of that?
No.
Okay.
Just to clarify, when Ms. Dean references the board, that is the Board of Elections, right, in regards to who determines whether we consolidate or maintain. The Board of Commissioners do not make that decision, just for clarification.
Yeah, of course, and there's a 3-member board, like I said, we have a Republican and a Democrat representative, and I'm a nonpartisan position. And I am the chairman of the board. And that decision is the Board of Elections. We do make that decision, but of course we want our BOC to be on board with it and support us, and we want our parties to support us. Yeah. We went to other counties and looked at that, and they do have party support with a lot of and there are a lot of counties that are consolidating and really starting to do that, especially.
Well, the way the election laws is changing as quickly as they're changing, counties, even small counties like us, because we're small at 32,000 people, they're being forced to make a change.
Right.
To a certain degree.
And that will lead me into my next little area here, the new election legislation. As you know, they was called in, General Assembly was called in last 17th, and they met, I'm not sure what they done, but for a few days up there, and ended last week. And election laws were on the book, and I'll be glad to forward you all a copy of that election law that took place. There's still a lot of stuff up in the air about that as far as our position goes. We do know that as of right now, that QR code that everybody talks about will still remain on that ballot until 2028. 2028, we'll be getting a new voting system. With the new voting system, we also know that it's going to involve paper ballots, and it will involve more than likely what they call a ballot on demand printer. Those scare me a little bit, but just for one ballot on demand printer, that could cost between $5,000 and $8,000. Well, the state, as you all know, and the things that you do, they're only going to give you what they feel is necessary for you to run this election and have. They may say, well, you only need 10 ballot on demand printers. Well, that will never work. So the county comes in and has to pick up the rest of them. So you can imagine what we're looking at as far as ballot on demand printers. Not sure how they're going to work yet. We will have training for all that probably later in the year and next year. just to kind of, and they'll be talking, the state will be talking to different vendors, and then they'll go with whatever they feel. We have no say in it. They'll do that and then contact us later. But we will also have to be responsible for any, like I said, any additional equipment, paper, supplies, anything like that. Then you've got to look at training. I've already had poll workers tell me, well, if you start that, I'm not in there. And I had a hard time in June keeping workers. Monday afternoon, I had somebody call, I can't work. So I'm scrambling around, and just so happened that we had a poll worker that wanted to retire, and I called her back in that morning, and she came in and worked, so I was very thankful for that. But like I said, many details are unresolved, and we do expect, additional guidance from the Secretary of State's office in the coming months. And as soon as I find out more information, I'll pass that on to you all and let you know, keep abreast of all that. But like I said, we're just as in the dark as y'all are.
So is the actual voting machines going to change, because the counties and the cities were on the hook to buy those machines from
Yes,
the state?
and my understanding now, we will have paper ballots, and they will look at, like I said, they look at different vendors. And that means that we have to have stands for the voter to go. Once they come in, we check them in. That ballot will print off. We give it to that voter. They go over to a stand, they vote it, and then they will still put it into a scanner. And then it just won't have the barcode on it. In fact, they're actually doing it themselves instead of hitting a touch screen. And then they're also adding that hand counts and stuff like that. That we don't know a whole lot about right now. But you got to make sure that you've got to have enough stands out there. And even if we stay with the 12 precincts, I have 3 precincts right now that more than likely would need at least 3 of those ballot-on-demand printers, just for the volume.
So the machines we currently have, what would happen with those?
The state would come and take those, the ones that they own, and the other ones, and the others that we would, that more than likely they would tell us we can destroy them, or they may take them. I'm trying to think what they did the last time we had the election. I know they just kind of got everything, but I'm not sure. Trish, do you remember they?
I think they got everything.
Got everything. So that,
Even the ones that we bought?
Yeah, we just turned them over.
right, because they didn't, couldn't use them anymore because they were obsolete.
They would take them and destroy them.
Yeah.
But just a note to the public, we were forced to go out and buy things that they made obsolete, and now we got to give it to them.
Right.
Wonder where your tax dollars go.
Let me go back and talk to you back on the consolidation part. During an election year, when we have 3 elections like we have this year, with 12 precincts open, the cost would be approximately $125,000 for those 3. If we had one voting location, it would be around $76,000 for the 3. That's about a $49,000 savings. Now, when I talk about that, we're talking about equipment, advertising, the poll worker salary, early voting salaries, our overtime, if we have the overtime, anything like that. Now, in an election year where there's 5 elections, and you're going to have that more than likely if you have a presidential election, you're going to have possibly 5. With 12 precincts open, that would cost around $193,000, and with 1, it would cost around $120,000. So you're looking at around $73,000 of savings there. So let's look at it. But like I said, I'm going to do what's public. We'll have public hearings and go through all that, talk to the parties, and see how they stand. Well, I know how they're standing. Some of them are standing on it, but we'll still get their input. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate your time.
And thank you, young lady, for everything you do behind the scenes.
Yeah,
One day she'll let you talk.
Well, I don't have it too. She won't do it. She doesn't know that's all.
All right, Miss Alita Turner, Madison County Library, quarterly report. Quarterly update, sorry.
Good evening. So I'm going to try and be brief. Let you know, going back a little ways. So in most of January, we had a traveling exhibit that was at our library. We were one of only 12 libraries to be able to host that, so that was quite an honor. I'm proud of us that we had that for people to come and learn from. We recently had a display of historic Madison County postcards that belonged to the collection of Gary Doster. He lent those to us, and I know people enjoyed looking at those. We partnered in March with Mark on a community baby shower, It was a combination resource fair, and there were giveaway items, and the attendees, it was meant for new and expectant parents. They got a lot out of it and really expressed gratitude that we had that. We're trying to do something of that sort annually now. We had our first annual, we called it Blue Truck and Friends. If you think Touch a Truck, it's that sort of event, but that's a proprietary name. But we had a sheriff's department car, we had an EMS ambulance, the library van, the Carlton Fire Department sent one of their trucks, and we even had a hearse. So, and we had a great turnout. It turned out to be the first day of baseball, and so we benefited from that. We had people who were either on their way to the baseball game or coming from it, participated in our event as well, so it worked really well together. And it was a lot of fun. And then just some current updates. The school system led a coalition to apply for a grant for to improve early literacy in the county, early childhood literacy, and it was specifically a coalition grant. We joined with them on that, as well as several other organizations. We did get the grant, and the coalition has had its first meeting. As our part of that, one of the things we are doing is really encouraging parents to participate in the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program. We've had that for a while, but we weren't pushing it as hard as maybe we could be. So now we're really pushing it. We've already greatly increased our numbers of participants in it, and I'm very happy about that. It is summer reading. The theme this year is Unearth a Story, so we're having lots of fun with fossils and dinosaurs and rocks and other animals. For adults, one of the things we have is a bingo sheet, and I included one of those in your packet. I hope you will all please play my bingo. It's fun, and you can earn some prizes, but the main thing is just have a good time, reading some books and come into some library programs and do that and enjoy it. With that, I specifically would like to invite you to a couple of events we have coming up. One is tomorrow evening. It's called Preserving Your Family Artifacts, and we're going to have a person who specializes in archival materials and museums and work with the library is going to talk about how to save things like your old family Bibles and quilts and military uniforms that you might have inherited from one of your ancestors. I think it's going to be a really interesting program. And then in July, related to that, we're also going to have a Genealogy 101 class. So if you've ever thought, well, I need to know about my family history, but I don't know where to start, come to this program and you'll know where to start then. Then also, obviously this year is America 250. We are participating in a statewide initiative called Georgia Reads for America 250. And there's a challenge. To complete the challenge, you only have to read one book out of a list. If you sign up for the challenge by July 4th, you have until the end of the year to complete it, but if you just sign up for it by July 4th, you'll help us, as our library system, hopefully earn a visit with Malcolm Mitchell, former NFL player who has become a literacy advocate and an author. So please sign up for that. You've got the address for the website right there. I'm very happy to email it because I know that'll be easier to click on. And then the final thing is, I was already saying, I knew you were looking at the HVAC situation. Just before the meeting, Chairman Higdon updated us that y'all have ordered HVAC units for us. Thank you very, very much for all the work on that. We will be happier, our patrons will be happier if we have these hot temperatures. Getting it cooler inside again.
You're welcome. Anybody have any questions? thank you for the emails that you send us with the calendar events, because we can share them with every one email which goes out to all the employees.
I'll keep doing that.
We're appreciative of that, being able to spread the news for y'all. So,
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody on the library board have anything to add to that? I see y'all back there in attendance.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Zach likes to come front and center. Congratulations, Zach. I hear you're taking over the reins now from Ben, the new Rotary president. Ben's relinquishing it. You were talked into it.
Yeah.
Thank you. It couldn't have went to not a better guy. Zach's wonderful. It's a great job. All right. Chairman's report before we move into it. I was hoping the Madison County Journal was here, but maybe they'll watch the video. I want to talk about something very briefly, and I know I'm long-winded, so you can point of order at any point in time, but thank you for the update on the election stuff, and it leads into what I want to talk about in the chairman's report, because Facebook and social media and even some of the stuff in the newspaper lately has gone astray on what county government and the Board of Commissioners can and cannot do when it comes to tax dollars. And we're catching a lot of flack right now along with the school board with taxes and property taxes. But I want to try to educate the public in which they can do themselves with Google as to what we control, what we don't. So many mandates, as you just heard, is coming down from the Capitol. About 90% of the day-to-day operations in this building is state mandated or state set in statute, in which the county attorney a lot of times has to dictate how to interpret some of those statutes. When you read on Facebook about, the tax man was out back at my house, understand that state law has changed, and we got to come to your house every 3 years. It's not something we want to do. It's not something I wanted to go out and hire more employees to do, but I had to, because the state mandate says we have to now reappraise every home in the county, which is 17,000 parcels, every 3 years. We did not have the manpower to do that. We used to do it about every 7. So when it goes to Facebook, there's the tax man again. He must think I built a building. Understand, we don't want to be there either. The state made us do it. And if we don't do it, we get fined by the state. There is a dollar figure set. If we do not meet that threshold, that your taxpayer dollars will be paying a fine, which you would not want me to do, because then you'll think I'm not doing my job. And I'm not trying to criticize anybody, but the non-stop about what people think we're in control of versus what we're actually in control of is very misleading. I'll use numbers loosely to tell you that we bring in about $12.9 million in tax property tax each year. About 11 million of it is pre-allocated to state mandates. That leaves about $1.9 million, 1.6 to $1.9 million is we actually have to do things with. 1.6 to 1.9. It takes that alone just to run the EMS station. That does not include the sheriff's office. Believe it or not, sheriff's office is mandated. Deputies are not a mandate, but a jail is. It's a mandate. You gotta have it. You gotta pay for it. These kind of things, when people say my taxes are too high, realize that we don't set your taxes. We don't. That number we don't pull out of a hat. That's formulated by sales. So I don't want to be too frank in saying this, but when my neighbor sells his house and he comes next door and says, man, I sold my house and I made $200,000 off of it. While I'm congratulating him, I ought to be upset with him because he just made my taxes go up. That's what happens. That's how that number come to be. It's not something the Board of Commissioners does to you. It's not something the taxman does to you. Poor Lamar Dalton, all he does is mail out tax bills, and he got blasted with over 200 comments on Facebook. These people are human beings. They come to work every day just to do their job. Show them a little bit of respect. They're not the bad guy. I made a comment recently on Facebook. This county has been in existence since, about 211 years, maybe 212 years now. And if people at this table, including the chairman, including these people in these offices, were all so bad, you would think the citizens would finally get it right and vote somebody and do a good job. But every 4 years, everybody's awful, and everybody's a crook, and everybody's padding their pockets. 200 years later, with an election every 4 years, you would think you would elect somebody good. Maybe we are good, maybe you're just misinterpreting what we do. My door's always open, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. My cell phone number is everywhere. My email address is on the website. If there's something that you're misunderstood about or confused about, contact us. Don't go on Facebook blasting us, because I ain't got time to track it down and see who tagged me in something. I got a life too. I know I ran for this position, and I think we've done a mighty damn good job of it for 5 years. We brought in over $35 million in grants, thanks to that young lady right there, and this Board of Commissioners, allowing us to go after those. We've got businesses coming all over this county. Highway 98 just finished the last one. Next area is being built right now. US 4 Miners is now online. SRM Concrete is online. RV Park is fixing to be online. There's other things coming. We can't move at a faster pace. If it doesn't please you, please tell your friends, your neighbors, or whoever just constantly complains to find something better to do or move. Because you ain't got to re-vote for me, because if you think I do this for votes, you're sadly mistaken. I do this to help people. Everybody at this table does. We do this to try to help people. Because I promise you, it ain't because of the pay. So thank you for that. Statements, remarks from citizens on tonight's agenda items. All right, old business. Consider a transportation special purpose local option sales tax. That actually goes back to what I was talking about. If it wasn't for these 1 penny taxes, we don't pave roads with your tax dollars. In 5 years, we've not paved the first road with tax dollars. We pave all the roads, we fix all the potholes with 1 penny sales tax. Just for the record. Christina, you want to explain these both? 7 and 8, it looks like we can do together. Mike, you think we can take them both up?
Yes. So 7 is just the IGA. This is the breakdown. I think it's on maybe the 4th or 5th page, or the 3rd page. It starts breaking it out by each county, each municipality, what their projection to receive is. 4 is how it's broken out in percentages. This is the same as what we did with the current SPLOST, the 2026 SPLOST that was on the referendum and approved. Those distribution percentages are the same. So this is the IGA. This is what we'll consider and send to the Department of Revenue. And then the next document is the resolution to call for a 1 penny sales tax, and that'll be sent to the Board of Elections. But you've seen all of these numbers, and we've discussed all this prior to.
And just as a reminder, this is not a new tax. This is an extension of the 1 penny that already exists. I do probably need to mention this, that on Splash, while I'm on the topic. Okay. Is, in case anyone here owns a business, July 1st, the sales tax in Madison County will drop back to 7 cents, not 8 cents. You should have received a letter from the Department of Revenue. That is going to be for 6 months. It'll run through 2027.
Yes. So the T-SPLOST we currently have, we will meet those requirements that were on the referendum at the end of June. And so that's why that 1%, that 1 penny sales tax will go away starting July 1st. This will be on the referendum for the citizens to vote in November, and if it's approved, it will begin. Did we write it to begin January or July?
I think I thought it was April.
Maybe it's April, yeah, it is, because it's a funny month, yeah. So it'll start collections in April. But we just, and what that means for the public is, on that referendum that we had put, $14 million, somewhere right, $13 to $14 million in the last referendum, and we collected it early, is basically what that means. So we're able to discontinue that for a few months.
In short, we've done a good job of buying local. All that stuff the chamber sends out about shop local, we've done it so well, we collected our allotment 6 months early. We didn't lose any money, we just gained it early. And another thing, for the public's knowledge is, if you ever wonder what's on the T-Splosh, we list the roads that you're voting, where that penny's gonna go. All Splosh, T-Splosh, all that's broken out, and you can see where that money directly goes to.
And a lot of that information is on our website.
That's what I was referring to. All right, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we're doing 7 and 8 together.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion that items 7 and 8, as presented, be approved and passed on.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams, I have a second by Commissioner Kurt. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Kurt.
Yes.
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 Thank you, gentlemen. Consider an indigent defense agreement among the Circuit Public Defender Office of North Judicial Circuit. Mike, you want to touch on any of these highlights, or Christine, either one?
Honestly, I just sort of forwarded it along this year.
Okay.
Not much change.
All right, it's just a renewal of our coverage for the indigent defense. I don't know that there was an increase that I saw.
I think it stayed the same for Madison
think it
County,
did.
didn't it?
142,801.
If y'all can see that screen, that's another one of those things. People wonder where the tax dollars go. Indigent defense. We've actually dropped to third. We're normally tied with Franklin County as the highest.
Yeah.
So Hart County's,
Same one.
which, yeah. All right, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion to enter this agreement. I have a motion by Commissioner May. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
New business, consider appointing Grant Morrow to the Library Board of Trustees. As a matter of fact, let's take up item number 10 and 11, if it's okay. Consider appointing Chad Lichlitter. May I have said that wrong?
Licklider.
All right.
How would you like to say it?
I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. How about this, Grant and Chad?
Yeah.
To the Library Board of Trustees. All right.
Both of these, so both applications were reviewed by the library board, and these are their recommendations. They have one library board member that's retiring, and one seat currently vacant.
Correct. We've had a vacancy, I think, for maybe going on a calendar year.
Yes.
And then Peggy Terrell, her term, she's termed out, so she could no longer serve.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
So this will make our board whole.
Perfect. All right, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve both of them for the, Library Board of Trustees, 10 and 11.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kurt to approve Grant and Chad to the Library Board of Trustees. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner May. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Chapman.
Yes.
Yes.
Chad, correct? Is Grant here? All right, Chad, thank you. We appreciate it. You got a great group of folks. I can tell you now.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Anytime you volunteer services, it's awesome, buddy. Consider an agreement between the Madison County Board of Commissioners and the Rotary of Madison County for the Rotary Island Splash Pad Banner Sales Revenue Sharing. I don't know, Mike, if this is.
Yes, this one we do, is the other one we didn't need to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
this is correct.
Yeah, this is the one that Shelley had asked some questions, but
it's more sort of internal operation stuff, so, I mean, as county attorney, I think this is okay as is, unless Rotary or Shelley thinks it needs to have more added to it.
Has your approval, Mike?
Okay.
All right, I was also looking, do we have on here about the water line agreement? Yes,
That is,
never mind.
yes, that's
I got it.
later.
All right, thanks. All right, gentlemen, any questions on this one? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve.
Second motion.
Motion by Commissioner Kirk, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner May.
Yes.
Yes.
Should have took these very fast. I apologize.
I'd like to thank the Rotary for all their efforts that they've done and by initiating the splash pad thing. And,
We appreciate y'all moving forward with that.
yeah,
It's stalled out for a while, I think, on our end, so
Yeah.
thank y'all.
but we do appreciate that.
Consider an intergovernmental agreement between Madison County Board of Commissioners and the City of Danielsville for the service area of the Madison County Rec Department splash pad. This is the water main that supplies the splash pad. It is no longer tied to the city's water main. It is tied to the county's water main.
So we need this agreement because we'll have to send it to the DCA for our SDS plan, because
Yes.
the county is servicing inside of the city's district to serve.
Correct. So we'll vote, and then they'll have to vote to approve it, and then it goes to DCA.
Yes.
So, I'll entertain a motion on this one.
With this intergovernmental agreement between us and the city of Danville regarding water lines approved as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Kirk.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll get those over to everybody. A special recognition for the Rotary on this. I don't know if y'all saw this last week, but the senior center used the splash pad.
Yes.
And the pictures of that was amazing. I mean, we always see the little kids, but to see that big group of seniors out there, they had a ball. My phone rung off the hook. But thank y'all. Consider a contract resolution of a bid of award for installation of domestic water and fire suppression services serving the portion of Griffith Road, Shady Lane, and Northwood Circle project. This is a CDBG grant.
Yes.
In which Mr. Armentrout's company, AMT, that's right, AMT awarded that grant.
This is a recommendation in the form of a resolution.
The recommendation was to Advantage Soul, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Advantage Soul we are familiar with, as I will have to note this, they've done an amazing job on Sanford Road. The first time in history I've ever seen a construction project and people on rants and raves was actually raving about how good a job they've done. So hats off to Advantage Soul for such good work. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make the motion. Well, you're fixing to tell us that y'all, this is what you're saying, that y'all have reviewed, and that you're good with this, correct?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that this resolution be approved as noted.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams, a second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen?
How soon do we anticipate the work beginning today?
Right after the, pre-construction.
Yeah, we have a pre-construction.
Start right after, next day they want it.
So that'd be the end, I think that's at the end of July.
Yes.
Somewhere in the last.
Beginning of August, probably,
Duration of the project?
probably into early 2027.
Yeah.
Maybe. Towards the end.
I know that group, it'll be quicker than that.
As soon as they start.
There you go. Are we voting?
Yes. I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Adams, on you.
Yes.
Also want to acknowledge Vintage Soul coming out of Monticello. That's where you're based out of.
Yeah.
And this will be the second award that y'all have won
Yeah.
in our fair bid process. So thank you for staying engaged with our county. Consider Emergency Billing LLC for ambulance billing services. All right, gentlemen. Christina, I'll start this off, and I may need you to back it up, okay?
All right.
So, first off, I have to recognize the good work that Miss Cherry has done with our EMS billing over the years with Madison County. She's been with us, I do believe it's 19 years. We have reached a point with EMS calls of nearing 6,000 that it's going to take more than one person doing the billing. It's impossible. She has done amazing to get us to the point we're at, but some of the new auditing requirements that's out there now, it's a tall order for one person to fill. So at ACCG conference back in April, I ran into this group, and just turns out if they were on the other side of the road, they would be in Madison County. But they live at the golf course on 98. Forgot the name of it off the top of my head, Double Oaks. But they service about 59 counties, have 69 employees, and they will be able to take a lot of the new stresses coming off and let us focus on previous billing, things that's been looming, and which Ms. Cherry does not have a chance to get to because she's so bogged down in the new billing.
Well, another issue that we're running into is how much and how fast legislation is changing, and the billing code side of it.
Yes.
How fast that stuff's changing as well.
Each year, it seems like the insurance companies change coding or something. It's sort of like being a tax accountant. Each year you have to go to class because of tax codes change. Well, it's a lot like that with the insurance, the health insurance companies. So it's a welcomed consideration by this board from our EMS. I will say that our EMS collection numbers are some of the highest around. We're not looking to see a large increase of our billing, considering we're over 70% collected, when most counties are on about 35% collected. But we know that's going to change from the legislation side of it, and to be able to stay in our auditing window that they requested, it's best for us to move with this. There has been myself, Susan, Christina, Cherry, Bobby, and several counties have vetted this company. Everybody had high remarks. So, gentlemen, I would hope you would consider this contract. I don't think this particular one has to have a board approval, but I wanted you guys to at least be aware of it and to know that while we're doing this.
I think it does need a board approval, because it's a percentage.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be over that where the chairman's threshold or not. It might or might, yeah, I mean, it's just a
It's not
percentage.
supposed to be.
I don't know.
Just a question on my part, I have no problem with utilizing outside service, but the Board of Commissioners, or the chairman's signing the contract, the agreements listed as with Madison County EMS, wouldn't that be, shouldn't the contract be to us?
It is with the EMS, I believe, because the EMS holds the licensing of the district. So we
It's
hold
listed
our own
through the
license.
county.
Yeah, the title at the top is Madison County Board of Commissioners - Madison County EMS, so.
I think that covers.
Yeah, that's one of the things I feel like people get tired of me nitpicking them on, and I felt like I was close enough.
And I'll just be honest, gentlemen, we sent back over 20 additions and or requests just to fine tune this thing.
Not that their contract was bad.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
It was just customized and specialized for Madison County.
The legal terms are good, you know,
Oh,
you
legal
have
terms.
good rights to terminate if you need to and that sort of thing, so.
All right, so if I feel better with the consensus, gentlemen, if I could get a motion.
I'll make a motion that we enter into this contract as presented. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Adams, second by Commissioner Chandler. Is any discussion on this one, gentlemen? Hearing none.
Some sort of based on how successful they are at doing it. Obviously, we'd like to have the success with these about the plans.
Oh, 100%.
We did discuss a 1 year, that we were really going to reevaluate in 1 year to see how staff, our administrative staff felt like it was being relationship-wise.
And that was one of the good, towards the back of the contract, section 511, they commit to providing all sorts of reports to the county, if the county wants them, so.
So I have a first and second, gentlemen. Any other questions? Mr. Chandler, sorry?
Yes.
Yes. I do want to add one thing to this. Some of the problems that we've been experiencing with the EMS billing is in the software, in which we pay for anyway, but the company, there's not many companies that offer it, and the companies that we're able to enter into those agreements on are horrible to communicate with. So these people have their own deal that they'll talk to the insurance companies with and cut out a third party. So, I'm very thankful for that. All right, moving on. We are going way too fast. Slow this down for us, Stanley, or Bob, I don't know which one. All right, consider renewing an agreement with food service contract between Madison County, Georgia Food Service and Pinellas County for the senior center.
This is our current vendor that we use now. The prices, they did not change. It's just a renewal, so we do a 1 year renewal each year, also renewal of the year. They're happy with their service. They're happy with the food that they provide. That the senior center staff doesn't have any complaints.
All right, gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion by Commissioner Kirk, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Y'all are making this way too easy.
You want us to?
Well, I want to add something here about the senior center, and I'm going to get some of those to come in here. Y'all really need to hear from the director and some of the staff and even some of the participants. We've crossed over 140 seniors. It's remarkable. I hope if you don't have social media, whatever, we'll start putting pages in your emails for you, but just to see where we're at today and the things that they're doing over there is all inspiring. Considering it, yeah, you know best, because you're going to hear it first. I'm going to hear it second.
Just go to bingo day and you'll understand. It is the event that they just love, and they have fun, and it's the greatest thing that my mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law.
Yeah.
How old do you have to be?
Huh?
I might want to go.
Well, I don't know, I guess what, it can be whatever age.
You can be whatever age.
I think that they got some that, they're in their about 55, that
Oh, heck, I'll
show up sometime.
I'm past you.
Now,
Just bingo day is,
now, mind you, bingo day,
it's
they
competitive.
get turned away because they will max the fire marshal out.
That's right.
Like, they turn people away.
That's why,
300
that's why I
shows up for this thing.
yeah, I hear the complaint that we gotta have a bigger building because we ain't got enough for the bingo.
Well, Monday I heard we're gonna need another more transportation vehicle. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's so many of them going on trips that they can't all ride.
That's right.
That's coming.
It's, but, you know, we got a lot of elderly folks and I'm one of you there.
You and Dennis can ride together like a flying van.
That's right.
All right, consider
Bingo and exit.
assignment of an easement for the Industrial Development and Building Authority for Urban Kirk Booster Pump.
This is just another one of those that, easement that fell through, that was in the IDBA's name, that we're transferring over to the BSC. So like the other ones, you're just accepting that it's coming to the county.
All right, entertain a motion, gentlemen.
We just transferred the easement we approved.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Kirk.
Yes.
Number 18, discuss the future management plan for the water tower located on Highway 98. Christine?
Yes, so we received some feedback from Mr. Eric Neese on the water tower, the elevated storage tank. We sent all of that to you guys last Friday, I believe it was, or maybe the Friday before that, for the water assets. So Mr. Neese with Carter and Sloop, they just did a water study for Madison County and all of our water assets. So he is recommending that this asset is sitting as a liability because it's not being used and it cannot be utilized for the systems and the pressure and directions that our current water system is. So with it being empty and the time frame that it has, it is due for every 5-year maintenance cost. So we have quoted that maintenance cost for the Madison Water Park water tower, and that was the $135,000 that Chairman Hicks explained to y'all. But the Madison tank is a 150,000 gallon tank, toward this one's a 200,000 gallon tank. So we know it'll be more than $135,000 to what is required to clean and repaint the tower. The city of Danielsville would like to own and utilize that for fire protection. So for them, it's for either we can sell the water or they can slowly fill the tank and they can have it for fire protection to put out schools, put out the government complex buildings, homes, and then I think what has triggered this is the number of residential like apartments and complexes that they're receiving and how that's growing. Another thing that they had mentioned was the hardware store and how large between that and Georgia Metals is back through there. So I think that they're looking at it as an asset to be utilized for them, and Mr. Neese advised that it was a big liability to the county. So I know that the board has talked about selling, buying, transferring to the city of Danielsville.
Lease, or lease.
Or leasing, yes. So we put this back on the agenda. I believe it was Commissioner Adams and Commissioner Doster wanted us to reach out to Carter and Sloop and kind of get their expertise and opinions on how to utilize that water tank. So that's what this is on the agenda for, is what direction do you guys want us to move forward now that we've gotten the feedback from Carter and Sloop?
Well, I know that when we had the meeting and Mark, Eric talked to us after we got, I know, and I talked to him further about that. Also, if the tower was used by the city, it could be in an emergency case, use 29 north, you know, as far as, and 98 north. And 29.
29 going to
29.
Okay, yep,
Yeah.
yes, okay, yes.
Either way,
98.
if emergency and a fire situation, if that way.
So another thing that we had talked with Mr. Neese about was, because I didn't understand, so I talked to him, Commissioner Doster kept referencing a value in the tank and what the value was, and it does hold a value, but a lot of municipalities and governments, what they do is the tank does hold a value, but that dollar figure is so minimal because of the cost to purchase, take down and relocate the tank. So that tank there is a tank that was purchased somewhere else. If you actually look at it when you go by it, you can see it sitting on, was it 12 or 14 foot concrete pillars, and it still is not pressurized correctly to be used in our system.
It's not the right height.
Right.
They raised it when they brought it in. So in a bad situation, Danielsville don't want it, and they say, no, we just don't want it, and then we got to do something with it.
Well, I understand that.
That's the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I'm for doing that. The land that the tank sits on is the county, right?
.22.
Okay, so do
they have .22 to trade?
Well, I'm just trying to think, how can we handle that? Because
You could do a land lease. You could lease the land for $1.
Oh, you can, well, do whatever you want. I mean, that's one of the things that you can do. You know, the county's subject to all these statutory rules about disposition of land, but there are several, actually, A through N or more exceptions, and to a municipality in the jurisdiction is one of them. So that's not an issue.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, and this is a thought that I have. I don't have a real problem with the city just taking over. As long as they take over total maintenance, total everything, all the costs of that thing, okay? Of the tower. And also, there needs to be some kind of clause that if they don't maintain it, they can't just all of a sudden abandon it and say, because it's on county land, it's y'all's, and then we got to take it down or do something, you know, if it gets in bad repairs. They've got to do it, or they somehow penalized or something, and I don't know how you do that, if you can do that.
Well,
To have a reverter in it.
yeah, I mean, I was thinking the cleanest, it's usually cleanest to just convey it to them that it's their land as well as the tank that's
Okay.
on it. That's what I was saying.
Well,
You don't have to do a bid or any of that stuff.
Well, is there any problem with, if we do that, with where it's setting at, does that mess up any of our issues up there with?
It does not. As a matter of fact, that tower is sitting in Danielsville's service delivery because they service to the EMS station.
Okay.
And it's sitting on the EMS station property. So technically, by law, it wasn't supposed to be in that location back 25 years ago when it got put up. But they may have told Danielsville or the county that it was good up. Hey, put it right there. It's okay. I don't know. But, I mean, there's a lot of value to all the citizens of this area.
Oh, yeah.
And I will comment that Commissioner Doster was correct, that what if another city wants something? Problem is, we don't have anything else inside a city that we could give. So,
Well, and I don't, I mean, this is not like setting any kind of precedence that you gotta, just because of water power. I mean, is it?
No.
From a legal standpoint, I mean,
No.
if anything, we're saving the county taxpayers money, because we're going to end up having to fork out about $135,000 to $150,000 just to paint it, clean it, and keep preserving.
Yeah.
well,
With nothing in
Yeah,
it.
and I
You have to
personally,
give them the courthouse too.
and the county does get something out of it.
We,
As good as possibly get it. Well, it's sitting there, because it's been sitting there for quite a while, and it's just
6 years,
it's ruining.
turning black right now.
Yeah, and you see a lot of those sitting around, and in fact, I don't know a whole lot about this, but when I helped Mark with some things, I saw a bunch of those that they had to be taken down because they got in such bad repair that it was a safety issue, and considering where they were sitting. Now, if it was sitting out in the middle of nowhere, it wasn't a problem, but where that one's sitting, if it becomes, then it's
Big problem.
a big problem.
So does the board, do you want to move forward with, Mr. Pruitt drafting a conveyance, or, I don't know if Mr. Pruitt has an input on leasing?
Yeah, I mean, we can, again, it's an exception to the disposition rules, so we can do this just like a private transaction, we can do it any way you feel is best.
Okay.
So not to get hung up on this tonight, but tomorrow is still gonna be a little bit of a long evening. Tomorrow, can y'all email your thoughts of whether you wanna lease it, rent it, or whatever? I don't wanna get hung up on it long. I don't want it to go down a multitude of rabbit holes, but I think we're all in the same mindset. It's in everybody's best interest, to move a certain direction. But if not, Mike, I would ask you to draft, because it's gotta go back before their board. They have to adopt it. I would do two things. I'd either give it to them subject to a lease,
Okay.
whether the lease be $1 for 20 years, or just convey it in general, see which one they would prefer. And that way it's on their court to choose, and once they approve it, then we can approve it.
You gonna talk to the mayor about that?
I can.
Okay.
About to Commissioner Kirk's comment, hadn't thought about this, but the possibility of us maintaining the parcel that sits on, leasing them the parcel, giving them the tank, conveying them the tank, leasing them the parcel for
It's a
$1.
fixture, it goes with the tank, it goes with the land, it's a fixture. I mean, you could have, like you said, Chairman said, you could have a reverter, or if they ever chose to dispose of it, we could have a right of first refusal.
Well, the one concern that I would have is at the point that they decided that it's no longer of use to us, it just remains sitting there.
That was that was the concern I had, but I don't know.
Well, the only difference is the liability then is theirs to take it down versus ours to take it down.
Is that in fact true?
It is landlocked around us, so we'll be the ones, the county will be the one that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard, that's right. I mean, if there's some state law that says they have to take it down, it would be theirs, so it would be their responsibility.
He just asking for a land.
But if you're concerned about it being an eyesore for your surrounding land, we could put an IGA with it with some sort of decommissioning requirements.
That'd be what I'd be looking for.
Okay.
At the point it ceases to be used, it'd be their responsibility to move the tower.
Thank you, Christina.
Yes, sir.
Consider budget amendment for 2025. This one should be brief.
Yes, so there's, it's a multi-page. This is what has been consolidated and finalized from the auditor. So the first one, and I apologize, I re-scanned the packet. I thought I put it all on here, but I guess I uploaded the wrong one for the citizens. So the first document is the general fund budget, and it's $336,635. Half of that, if you'll see, let's see, what line is it? About halfway down, it says reimbursable expense, $149,000. That's all that renovations through the Superior Court that was done through an ARPA grant. We received the grant this year, so it's going in the books for this year and not last year. So that's where that budget amendment is coming in.
But we did receive the funds 2 weeks ago, finally.
Yes. And so then you can see all the other ones. If y'all have any questions on those, we can go over that. They're smaller amounts. And this is just where we're having to move monies within the budget, and this is what will zero our budget out. There's also, so what also attached is the state seizure budget for the sheriff's office, and then Katie Cross's clerk's deed, special revenue. So we approve these each year, and those are our best guess from those two constitutional officers. And then every year when we do budget amendments from the auditor, this is what those finalized numbers are. So they just go back and correct those numbers for their audit to, again, zero those budgets out. So these are all for 2025, and they all came from our current auditor.
And for the record, myself, Christina, Susan, and various people involved in these different line items right here has approved. There's nothing in here that does not give us heartburn, that wasn't prepared to happen. So
The board actually, department heads and elected officials have actually done wonderful with their 2025 budget.
Just noticing this, I guess this is sort of on a separate thing, but that trailer business audit.
Yes.
I guess at some point, can we maybe get with them, if you could ask for an update on.
Yes.
Since
So,
that amount, and then what did
yes, I
that?
can. We actually spoke with trailer business last week. Commissioner Chandler had called, and we had some discussions with them. And so they are going to run some reports and send some reports over to us. I've also talked with Robin and asked them maybe to come to a meeting and do a presentation.
Yeah. Okay, good, that'd be great.
I asked Robert, he said if they would do it, we'd go back and review what our actual contract, what the intent of that contract is, and pull that recordings and minutes up from those meetings to remind ourselves what the scope was that we agreed to do.
well, and I'm glad you said that. So at the very beginning of this, I talked about those mandates, those every 3-year state mandates. We have a company called Trailer Business Services that audited the retail side, because county governments are set up to do property and personal property. So far, trailer, it's been about a 2-to-1 return, maybe a 3-to-1 return. The unfortunate part is there's not multiple services out there you can go to. So at no point in time in the future will we be able to get out of that 3-year evaluation. We'll have to go with somebody, because we don't in-house have the capabilities to do retail.
So it's not only retail too. We started off with
Cell towers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Public utilities. That's something that's specialized service. But they also audit, our larger chains like, Georgia, Renewable Power, so GRP, the power plant. We don't have staff that specializes and goes in there and audits those. Same thing as Ingalls and Dollar Generals. They've audited those as well. So, we've done well.
All right, gentlemen, so I need a motion on consider the budget amendments for 2025.
Make a motion that we approve the budget amendments presented today.
Motion by Commissioner Adams, second by Commissioner Kirk. Thank you. Any discussion, gentlemen? Commissioner Kirk, it's on you, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Put it in the wrong spot. It's on there.
All right, road updates.
I forgot to print one. First time in 5.5 years, I forgot to print the road updates in your packet. Which there isn't a lot of stuff. The road department just finished all of the stormwater management, drains and manholes over at Mines Park. That's part of the Land and Water Conservation Grant. So some of that stuff, all that's been done there. They've added parking. It looks really good. You should ride over and look at it. Another thing, Commissioner Adams or Mr. Chandler asked me a while ago, behind the library, you'll see we have the road department there grading. Health department. I guess you've been talking so much. I've been backwards all day. Behind the health department, so they're grading this new paving project that we're getting ready to start. We will be keeping all the millings, and we are renting a piece of machinery to grind up those millings so we can put those on county dirt roads and roll them in. So hopefully that can help with some of the hurricane season that's about to come, so we can help with that. So that's what they're doing there.
Also, I want to add, if any of you have been down Old Elberton Road, the whole zigzag, Frank's probably been down it a lot. We just gave that award.
Yeah.
There was a pre-construction meeting on site the other day with C.W. Matthews. Turns out C.W. won the bid. Same group that done Sanford Road, Dennis, so you guys will be very proud of that. If it's anything like Sanford Road, and that'll be the 2-foot widening on that road because it was so bad to try to get through those S-curves down there. Know what I'm talking about? Whole fire department? All right. So anyway, we piped all those ditches because there was not enough right of way, so we ended up piping all that. We're gonna pave over that pipe for the drainage to be able to get that expansion out there. Because there's a cemetery here and a bank here, so.
So it's from the railroad tracks to the county line.
Yes. Gonna try to remove the dip there in front of the whole church too. Good. All right. So into the road updates, water updates. Spratlin Pond's well, waiting on an MPA results that should be back within a week. The test is to ensure that well is not being contaminated by surface water. The feed mill water line project is 80% complete. They are on 72 currently. So they've already come down New Hope. They've already come down King Avenue, where they hit all the granite. But that company's done a really good job also. Irving Kirk Pump Station. The pumps has been turned around to push water, waiting on the electrical part, which has been ordered. We are fixing to start sending water to Franklin County. Commerce Pump Station, the department is continue to work with the engineer for plans on additional pump stations, and that's probably going to be over around the 5 Points area on Sanford Road or East Commerce Road.
We're talking about that.
Yeah, so we're waiting to see which is going to be the best location there, which will inevitably pump up pressure on that end of the road going up to the end of East Commerce Road toward 98. We have low pressure problems. Gentlemen, you have a copy of the water produced, purchased on the back. Again, it's pretty remarkable seeing that we are now producing more water than we're purchasing for the first time ever.
Question on the
3 months running.
pump station on Irwin Kirk Road.
Yes.
At the new bridge on 29, there's a vault that I believe contains a water meter from the time that we purchased water from Franklin County.
Correct.
Is that meter going to be turned around, or how is?
We are going to add our own meter. That is an old, out-of-date meter. Our system won't read. Franklin County can read it, but we cannot with our software. So we're adding a meter in just like we did at Commerce, to where now there's two meters, one going one way, one coming the other. You can use a multimeter that'll read both directions, but because that meter's so out of date, Franklin County wanted to replace it anyway, we chose to add our own meter for accuracy.
Are we gonna use their vault or?
Their vault.
Well, okay, so, that's fine.
We're just gonna do a pipe around. All right. Statements and remarks from citizens.
So we have 3 citizens who have asked to speak to the board.
All right.
Mr. Hill, I'm gonna let Miss Nivens, I'm gonna let her go before you, okay? I figured you'd like ladies first, so. And what Miss Nivens is gonna be discussing about tonight, she has sent to me an email, and that's the staple document I think it's the all beginning of the meeting.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Dana Nivens, and I'm here to encourage you all to proactively set regulations around data centers. I emailed y'all about a month ago, and thank you for your responses.
Did we speak? Did me and you,
I
somebody
think
called?
you emailed. No, I didn't talk to you on
Okay,
the
somebody
phone.
called.
Oh, good. I know this is probably already on your radar, hopefully, and maybe there's already talk of setting regulations, but I just wanted to be proactive in sharing some information that I've come across. I became really concerned about this issue when I learned that Georgia is the 3rd fastest growing state for data centers in the country. The 400-acre data center complex in Newton County is currently responsible for 10% of the county's total daily water use. And studies are showing that Newton County will be in water deficit by 2030 at the rate they're going. I could go on for some hours about the negative impacts of data centers, but what I think is most important right now is figuring out how to not repeat the mistakes of our neighboring counties. I've read that these large tech companies like Google and Microsoft set up shell companies to hide their identity when they purchase land, and also to keep their end use hidden. Farmland is particularly attractive to these companies because very few rural counties have regulations in place right now, making it easier for tech companies to move in unrestricted. This data center boom is happening during a time when most people still don't know what data centers are, and I think that tech companies know that people are asleep on the issue, and that's part of their rush is to get in before regulations are set. From what I've read, unless data centers are defined by the county and conditional use permits are required, then tech companies can find loopholes in current zoning laws. In my research, I came across a valuable online resource, a website called AI Now that has action steps for local governments in regards to data center regulations. It gives examples of what other counties have already set in place. I've summarized the local regulation sections in your packet. The most important thing I've read talks about putting a moratorium on data centers until regulations can be put in place. They suggest that data centers should go through a conditional use permit process, which would also require the county to define what a data center is, and they suggest that you give data centers a very broad definition so that no loopholes can be found. I hope you'll reference that website when it comes time to make those regulations, which I hope would happen soon. It feels like we're in the Wild West of data center development, and it seems like firm boundaries need to be set in place, otherwise we could end up with a bad situation like what happened in Newton County. But I'm hopeful that you all will continue to take care of the people of Madison County and that you'll take care of the water and the farmland. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We appreciate concerned citizens.
I've got a name.
Miss Dana, where do you live at?
In Hull, Planter Gunner.
You see your district one?
Uh-huh.
Okay. We had an email correspondence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So the data centers stuff, there's one more caveat to that, and that is the battery backup.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit more talk about the hazards of the battery backup than necessarily is about the data centers at this point. But one thing they have to keep in mind, unless the data centers, technology evolves for the cooling purposes, Madison County will never get one because we don't have the water for it in its current state. If they go to a closed loop system, yes, we would probably be approached. But thank you for this information and proceeding with this morning.
Next we have Mr. Stanley Hill. He's requested to speak.
Oh. I know some of y'all. I'm Stanley Hill from 374 Evans Court Road. And you was talking about the senior center where I go 300 people. I got a place where 300 kids can play. I'm going to open up a go-kart track. I've had it for 15 years or something like that, but trying to make it legal. But Tracy told me I would have to rezone the land because it's not for business. And I'd like to ask y'all to consider that. I don't know what I need to do next. She hadn't told me anything. I've been 3 weeks talking to her, and I ain't even got an application for zoning yet, so I don't know what to do with this. I'd like to find out.
So the first step before a zoning would take place would be we have to have a clarification in the ordinance for which zone it could go in. So that means the Board of Commissioners would have to look at the definition of the request and see where it would fit, if it fits. Because currently, Mike, if my understanding is correct, doing a typical rezone won't really get us anywhere because it still don't reference the intended use, which means there would have to be an ordinance change. Am I correct?
I think that's the position of planning and zoning, yeah.
So to start off with, I think the request would be to the Board of Commissioners to make a provision in the ordinance to make such allowance and then to figure out where it would fit. If I'm correct, Mike.
Yeah, again, I think that's the position.
So you're asking the Board of Commissioners to look for that?
Yes. And she told me to start with it had to be zoned for business, but I don't know what I need to do whatever.
I think this is very unique. It's one singular, and that's what we are working on internally is to provide you the answers that you're asking for.
Well, we've had two in Madison County before, go-kart tracks, but before all these new rules.
Prior to 1994, and when zoning come in, they were able to sustain as long as they stayed in operation. Once they're out of operation for more than 12 months, then they have to start back and comply with the new rules.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot about that as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all have already spoken.
No, me and you have.
Oh,
about
yeah.
What we already, the older one.
So I need y'all to.
I think you've currently got a meeting scheduled with Tracy, July 8th. Are you coming in to sit down with her?
I already sat down with her, but I didn't do it again.
So, I believe that we can get you some answers by July 8th.
Okay.
That is our goal, staff, is to have you answers when you come back for July 8th. How to move forward.
So just for clarity, the petition wishes for the board to make a text amendment to the current ordinance, making it lawful in some type of zone, whether it be ag or business or whatever. That is the request. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, because it don't do you any good to ask for a rezone if it's not in it, then they're just denied.
Find out what kind of zoning we need.
Do we currently have any go-kart tracks in the county that are authorized?
No, not now.
Shiloh
just went out. Shiloh went out a couple years ago.
2 years ago. Denver passed away.
That's the reason I was doing this, because we had 300 people like the seniors had their day, in my pasture playing, and they ain't gonna work out. But most of them little kids, I'm talking about 5-year-old to 12, and then teenagers, probably 50 or 75. They need somewhere to go, before they ain't on the streets causing trouble. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And it's
sir.
a good thing, families, I mean, mom and dad and everybody's helping them get through grocery, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's a family thing, so they stay together and they play together and it'll be good.
Thank you for coming in tonight, making that
Thank
request.
y'all.
Appreciate it.
Something on. All right.
All right.
See what you got to do.
Canola, did you want to speak
Yes,
with the
sir.
board this
You
afternoon?
said we had one more, yeah. And I was,
Yes, ma'am.
Did you want to, okay, whenever
oh,
you're
Bob?
ready.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
let me kick a can down the road one more time. I'm Bob Fitzpatrick, 2318 Friendship Church Road. We had a thing over at the winery the other night. Terry come over, Canola's come over, and I appreciate them, sort of enlightening us on, at least it's not falling on deaf ears. My concern, one of the main concerns is our water supply right now, the pollution. You know, y'all have got to put a moratorium on this. I said it over and over and over again, until y'all can figure out a plan for this. I went today with bush hog in my place. So I got out down there where the coyotes, we've got coyotes everywhere now. We used to have quail, we used to have turkey, they're gone because of the coyote. And I showed Terry some pictures, they'll be glad to show any of y'all. Dead chickens everywhere. They're not putting them in pits. They don't care that they're ruining the surrounding properties. John Davis, I talked with John. John has got pictures of coyotes toting the chickens off. I've got more pictures of at each door of these houses, birds stacked like that. The chicken pits, that's something, once you put that pit in there, you gotta dig out below the pit and so far around it to be able to use that land again and haul more dirt in. One of the things is the state says, I think it's a minimum of 100 feet to 500 feet from property lines. That's not happening. Over where John Davis joins in over there, they're actually on the property line and some of them are over the property line. That's something that's going to have to be addressed with BLD or whoever. But, and that's another reason for the moratorium until y'all can figure out a plan to stop all this from happening. I ain't got nothing against farming. Over in my area, the nose goes by there all the time. We've got 40 chicken houses, less than 3 acres a mile. 50 acres was sold above me, up above me, toward Pokey. I know what's gonna be put there. The 80 acres was sold beside of me. I know what's gonna be put there. I know the people that bought it. There's something got to be done to stop this, or slow it down and put some kind of regulations. These are not mom and pop farms. They're commercialized farms. There needs to be different regulations for 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 chicken houses. There's got to be a stopping point. You know, there's no need. I know that everybody wants this to be an agricultural county, but you're ruining the county. You're not helping the county. You're not helping the people that live here all their lives. And I hate to say it like this, and it may sound prejudiced, but it is what it is. These people are coming here from other countries. They ain't got no skin in the game. They could care less if they ruin this property. They'll back up and leave. And then the taxpayers are stuck with the mess. But I appreciate y'all listening and taking everything into consideration.
Mike, correct me, wasn't about a year ago legislation changed the rules on moratoriums that could only go so many days? It used to be you could run a moratorium for a year. And now they said 180 days, it had to be a firm, legitimate reason that you put it there.
Well, there's still the case law, and it's basically to that effect, but I don't believe that statute passed. I don't think that got through the legislature.
There was a restriction of something as far as the time frame that you could carry a moratorium, but I don't remember. I'll have to look it up.
Well, even if it was 60 or 90 days, that would at least give y'all time to sit down and figure out something. versus,
One of the biggest challenges that I've seen, and me and Christina talked about this, as to me, in my mind, I have nothing against farmers, I have nothing against chicken farmers, but there needs to be a redundancy plan for water. In other words, if I'm going up Friendship Church Road, across Pokey Road with a water line, then it's a perfect area for them, because if something happens, you have potential way to hook to it. The problem with that is the cost to do that is.
well, not only that, the disease you bring in.
Yeah.
When something does happen, you know, somebody, they pile them in the chicken houses, but I'm gonna tell you, I went with Scott, and we've dug pits as deep as that excavator digging. I'm talking about a big excavator. And the agricultural people once said, dig it right here, dig it deep, you can dig it. That's gotta be getting into the water supply.
I'm not a chicken farmer, I don't know anything about it. I just think there has to be some kind of redundancy.
Right. Well, and I went and tried to talk to one of the farmers today, and he opened the door, and I started talking to him, he just shuts the door in my face. I don't like his dead bird being scattered out all over the place up there, no more than he would like me to bring my pump truck over there and back it over his front yard and open the valve.
Does the field man not have anything to do with that?
I'm calling Fieldale tomorrow. I'm gonna send them some pictures. I've called a couple of people at the EPD.
I mean, I know it's something that's out of our animal control
Right.
range, but I would think that they would have their own precautionary measures. The only reason I'm asking, because I don't know.
I don't either. I'm trying to still figure all that out, but, you know, gotta get something fixed.
Well, I would like to let you know that, staff has been working on things for us.
That's what Terry had told us over.
Terry has set up some meetings with, UGA.
He come over and put his feet in the fire the other night, sat there.
Yeah, so we've really done a lot of work into what we can do, what the state does, Georgia Right to Farm Act, and that is an active conversation, and we are looking and trying to figure out what we can do.
Well, I
So
appreciate
it's not on deaf ears, we do hear you.
Well, I keep coming.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna continue to keep coming until y'all finally say, hey, you got to leave.
Well, hopefully, maybe what you say, you learn enough, you can take this spot right here, but.
I don't want it. I think I ought to give you on Facebook, I don't want it.
Oh, man.
But I thank y'all.
Yeah. And I commend.
House Bill 514 in 2024 in sale.
Okay, thank you. And I do commend Commissioner, Chandler for taking the efforts to put together the community inputs on that. I do know he put together some stuff to try to retrieve some input from UGA and Travis and, I think it was Fieldale, or somebody, another poultry company, to be able to come back to you guys with.
And we're all finished, had a conversation with, Mr. Pruitt and Christina about, you know, what's and whys and all what to do about, how to handle moratoriums, how to present that, and so it's being worked on.
We appreciate it.
Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir.
I do think that was next, right?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. One of the things I want to make clear that I'm here speaking as a citizen, not as chair of planning and zoning. Although I think that come my topic, the planning and zoning would probably agree with me. Madison County, as well as other governmental agencies, have zoning ordinances. Ordinances are local laws that divide a community into different districts and zones. They set specific regulations for land use within each zone, ensuring the development aligned with community goals and standards. One of the things that has bothered me as chair of planning and zoning, and has bothered me as a citizen, is the way that we handle variances. I think we as planning and zoning and the board of commissioners are not handling variances in the way that it was intended to be. In some situations, there are things that require waiver. There are things that require variance. For zoning ordinances granted to the property owners who can demonstrate that the strict application of the law creates a unique undue hardship. In my mind, the most critical factor is a zoning variance case is providing a hardship that is unique to the property itself. Not just a personal financial inconvenience, not just because I don't like the ordinance, just because 10 years ago, the setbacks was 200 feet, or 20 years ago, it was 0 feet. Today, it is what it is, and we should be abiding by the ordinance. Just some examples. We've had requests where people come in and say it's a personal hardship. Before they come in, they actually know that they can't meet the setbacks. They actually know that they're in violation of the rules, but yet they go and acquire a $500,000 loan, creating their own hardships. That's a created hardship. That is not a hardship that was created by the land itself. We have approved other variances because I didn't understand the rules, or I didn't get the proper permits that I needed. Well, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So therefore, I believe that we are not applying variances as it was intended. I understand that we all have friends. I understand that, there's people that have been in the business for a long time. That has nothing to do with it. A lot of times we say that we need this variance and my neighbor says it's okay. Well, I don't see anywhere where it's written in the ordinance that says a variance should be approved because my neighbor says it's all right. It may be because you like your neighbor, and somebody else, you may have a neighbor that you don't like that says, hey, I don't want it. So what I'm asking for tonight is for you to take a look at how variances are being approved and follow the intent of the various requirements. The variances are unique and must be only approved if there is a true need for variance. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Statements and remarks from commissioners. Urgent matters.
Mr. Baker, you mind?
Yeah.
Bob's point that
Yeah.
people, there's several, I know there's probably 20 people there at the meeting last week, and just want to commend them on the tone of the meeting. A lot of good questions, a lot of good thought-provoking questions, but I just appreciate the way they handled it.
I'd like to rebut that a little bit and say I appreciate you recognizing that, because it seems like, as I started this off today with Chairman's report, we don't live in a world full of civil thought processes. Everything we do is wrong or be damned by somebody. So I appreciate you recognizing that tone.
That's one more thing, quickly. I did not put this on Facebook. Okay?
But
To me, Facebook, if you ignore it, it might go away. But if you keep responding to it, you're just going to continue to get it.
I'm just glad nobody brought up flock cameras. I'll just be honest.
Oh, man, I thought we were gonna make it the whole meeting.
No, but, all right, so thanks, Commissioner Chandler. Any other remarks from commissioners? No urgent matters that I'm aware of. Executive session, discuss real estate acquisitions, personal matters, potential litigations.
I got ahead of myself, no, sir.
You were ready. So Commissioner Doster's not here, so I'm gonna ask Commissioner Kurt, item number 26.
Oh, yeah, that's adjourned.
Thank you.
We appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
I need
Thank y'all for coming.
to tell myself to do this. This is on White House website, true story. Yeah, it was just starting.
I got one in nice and
Really good.
All right, are you,
So, I do,
yeah.
You later.
I'd like to. Bye, see y'all, bye, young.
People, yes or no, whenever possible. I wrote that down one time from Bruce Scott, and he said, I just looked at my pocket. If you, yeah, and just for folks.
Mike, is that a Duluth trade show?
No, this is,